Okay, well, welcome to this webinar, everybody. The webinar is hosted by Clean Energy Nillumbik, and our purpose, of course, is introducing a bulk purchase scheme which we hope will help many residents of Nillumbik and surrounding areas in their transition to sustainability. I would like, of course, to acknowledge that we are organising this event from the lands of the Wurundjeri, although I myself, as you may guess from my attire, am actually down in East Gippsland boating. We offer our respects to their elders of Wurundjeri, past, present and emerging. My name is John Brennan. I'm on the Clean Energy Nillumbik Committee and its previous president. In the background, not visible to you, are two other Clean Energy Nillumbik stalwarts, Natalie Bucknell and Robin Gardner, who are looking after the electronics for us, and thank you to both of them. Some housekeeping matters. We are recording the presentations and the question and answer session afterwards. Both will become available on the Clean Energy Nillumbik website in due course. Secondly, if you have any technical problems or comments, please use the chat button, bottom left on computers. I think it might be somewhere else if you're on a mobile phone, but there is a chat button. Thirdly, if you have questions to enter, and we hope that we'll have lots of them, you can do that at any time. You don't need to wait, using the question and answer button. We may consolidate the questions that are very similar to each other, but basically we're looking for as many as possible. Please don't hesitate to ask, and you can see that button in the middle of the bottom of your screen. I've mentioned Clean Energy Nillumbik a couple of times. Probably most of you know about it. But for newbies, we're a volunteer community organisation working with the Shire and with like-minded organisations to help in the move by Nillumbik and its residents and its enterprises to a more sustainable energy future. To our presenters. Romney Bishop will speak first, followed by Aaron Maloney. We're most fortunate to have these two people. Both live in Nillumbik, both are experts. Romney has worked in the field of environmentalism and various environmental projects and initiatives for many years, both with the Shire and with state government. She is a resident, as I said, and I think, as you'll see from her presentation, thoroughly knowledgeable about the organisational, financial, transactional arrangements that need to be made with a bulk purchase scheme like this. Aaron is a director of Airforum, our contracted supplier. Operating in the Diamond Valley area, Aaron has 30 years or so experience in the industry, chiefly with residential and light industry installations. He and his staff are very much locally focused, and we see that as a great advantage for everyone who takes part. With which introduction, I shall smile like a Cheshire cat and disappear, leaving the floor to Romney.
Hi everybody, and thank you, John. Good to see some familiar names in the participant list today. So as John mentioned, Clean Energy Nillumbik is a group of local residents and business owners who came together with Beyond Zero Emissions in 2016 to develop a strategy to have all Nillumbik's buildings powered by renewable energy by 2028. Some of the ways we're looking to achieve this outcome are through helping individual households and businesses put solar on their roofs, to work with council and private investors to implement large-scale solar farms within the Shire that could power a significant number of households and businesses, to consider how we can partner with energy suppliers who generate their own renewable energy to offer clean energy products, through reducing the amount of energy that we use as a community, and to assist households to move away from gas. So the reason we want to get people moving away from gas, there's a few of them. Firstly, there's no clean or renewable version of gas like there is with electricity. Sorry, I'll just move on to that. And secondly, we're expecting to see shortfalls in Victorian gas supplies starting in about 2023 with current levels of demand. So that means we'll have to start importing gas into Victoria, along with building a whole lot of new infrastructure to move it around the state and increased prices. So why are we offering, or what are we offering in this program? You're going to hear a lot more detail about the products shortly from Aaron, but we wanted to tell you how we went about selecting the products and the supplier first. We wanted to offer a couple of units at different price points so that people on a stricter kind of budget would have an opportunity to participate. We also looked at the efficiency of all the products we were offered, what each potential supplier was offering in terms of their customer service and warranties, and the quality of their workmanship. We sent out an invitation for expressions of interest to all Nillumbik-based air conditioning companies that we could find, and we were pretty pleased with the responses we received. Air Fusion was appointed as our preferred supplier. Some of you might know of them already. They have a fairly prominent site in Eltham, opposite Bunnings there, and you often see their vehicles driving around Nillumbik. There are several reasons why we've chosen to offer reverse cycle air conditioning as our first product. Firstly, heating accounts for around 57% of a household's total energy use in Victoria, so it makes sense to tackle whatever consumes the most energy. Secondly, air conditioners are the most efficient way to heat air, so they will help us to reduce energy costs and consumption. And thirdly, they will help us in the move away from gas. Don't freak out. If you don't want to know how these things work, I'm going to give you a very brief explanation as to why this type of heating and cooling is so efficient, but I'm not going to go into too much technical detail. Otherwise, zone out and have a look at your trees out the window or something. In Australia, they are commonly referred to as reverse cycle air conditioners. This simply means that they both heat and cool. Overseas, they're more commonly known as air-to-air heat pumps or air source heat pumps. Sometimes people also call them split systems, and that refers to the fact that the unit that blows the air around inside the house is separated from the unit that collects the heat outside the house, as opposed to older units where everything's in one box on your wall or in your window. So the reason heat pumps are so efficient is because they use electricity, a small amount of electricity, to move heat from one area to another, rather than using an element to generate heat or refrigerant or a refrigeration process to cool air. In winter, when it runs in heating mode, the outdoor unit takes heat from the surrounding air, even when it's really cold outside. These things work in very snowy kind of climates as well. The heat is transferred to inside the home through refrigerant coils containing compressed gas, and the fan inside the indoor unit disperses the heated air into the room. In summer, when you need cooling, the system's reversed and the heat's taken from the indoor air and pumped outside, hence the name heat pump. So next time you walk past an outdoor unit that's running, just stand in front of the fan for a second and feel the temperature of the air coming out. In summer, it's quite warm, and in winter, it's pretty cold. One of the great things about using air conditioning instead of gas or wood heating is that you can run it directly from your solar system, and it costs next to nothing. The photos that were on that previous slide are from my place. When we changed from a wood heater, and we had a really old box in the wall air conditioner as well, we put the new air conditioner in, very efficient, and now we have solar as well. Energy bills went from around $2,800 a year to about $360 a year. And that's because we're both away from home during the day, usually in pre-COVID times, and use most of our electricity at night. We are generating much more electricity than we use, and we feed most of it into the network. Whoop, sorry, gone too far. So this is the process if you want to participate in the bulk purchase program. Go to the Clean Energy Nillumbik website, which is just cleanenergynillumbik.org.au, and go to the events page for the bulk purchase program. There's a little registration form, just fill in your details and press the submit button. So we will then forward your contact details to AirFusion, and they will give you a call to arrange a suitable time to give you a quote. It becomes like a regular sort of purchase from that point. You're free to accept or reject their quote. What we would like to do though is send you out a very short survey, regardless of whether you go ahead and install the product or not. We'd like to send you a little survey to find out how things went and what we could improve for next time. Notice the little claim rebate box in red on that slide. I have a little bit of good news to share. So this week the state government announced a new program that will help low-income households install this type of heating. There are very limited details available at the moment, and the program's expected to be up and running by about February. Households will be able to replace old efficient gas, wood or electric heaters, and probably oil too if anyone still has one, with a reverse cycle air conditioner. The new heater has to be 4-star rated or better, so there are very, very few larger size air conditioners that have a 4-star rating or better, so all of our smaller ones will be accommodated through or be eligible for this program. So if you're interested, it's a $1,000 rebate. So if you're interested or you know someone who might be, it would pay to register on the Solar Homes website so that you can receive more information when it becomes available. And that's it on the screen. That'll take you directly to the page. I've got a little bit of not so good news to share with everyone today as well. I'm sure you'll agree that COVID-19 is the gift that keeps on giving in 2020. Very few shipments of air conditioners and a lot of other products actually have been arriving in Australia over the last few months. This is due to start improving from about mid-December, but it's resulted in a shortage of most types of air conditioners in the country. And the people who are running this new heater program are well aware of this issue as well. So what we're proposing is that if you're interested in participating in the program, that you register with us now, get your quote ready, done and completed so that you're ready to go when the stock arrives. And it's then just a matter, you've made the decision, it's then just a matter of booking a time to have it installed. Now I'm going to hand over to Aaron Maloney from AirFusion, who will tell you a bit about their business and give you some more details about the products on offer. Aaron.
Hello, are you there? Well, thank you, Romney. Just highlighting some of the facts that just went through there. We're an established business in Eltham, have been here currently for 6 years, mostly providing reverse cycle air conditioning, whether it be via wall-mounted or multi-heads or refrigerator ducted systems, and quite often linking them up to consumers' solar power or solar panels. 95% of our business is reverse cycle air conditioning, and we predominantly deal with leading Japanese brands, servicing Daikin, Mitsubishi, LG and Hitachi. Thank you. Next slide. So within our showroom, which is opposite Bunnings, I'm sure, as Romney mentioned, you've seen many of our vehicles safely driving around, hopefully, and our showroom is open 6 days a week, where we have working display models, obviously leading Japanese brands which have very high efficiency models, including the Daikin US7, which is a 7-star rated system. We offer in-house quoting on new builds. For this program, we will offer a priority service for the Nillumbik residents, as well as getting their units in a lot quicker than the general public at the moment. Next slide, please. So Air Fusion will dedicate their time and a staff member to the CEN, Clean Energy Nillumbik program, where once you register through the Nillumbik website, Clean Energy website, the information will be passed across to one of our sales team, and we will then contact yourself to come out and do a full detailed heat load on the home, working out whether the right size unit fits the right size room, and offer an offering within the range that's available today. So just starting off with both options here, we're offering a high-end Daikin Alira range, ranging from 2.5 kilowatt right through to the large 9.5 kilowatt unit. Being Daikin within the high range product, it's a very reliable, well-known Japanese brand. They only make air conditioners. They have the best spare parts available on the market. The other offering is at a price point, very efficient still in their own right, the LG range of air conditioning units. Luckily enough, within the LG range, they do come factory fitted with the Wi-Fi setup. So fantastic option to look at your home Wi-Fi from anywhere in the world, check your air conditioning unit, check what the room temperature is, check if you're generating solar, and have your home cooled while you're out and about. So within the offering, we offer a back-to-back installation as detailed above, which is 4 meters of field piping and the outdoor sitting on a slab on the ground. Now, there are options to move these outdoors or indoors into quite difficult locations, and there is some price variations based on all of those. But when we do come out and provide a detailed obligation-free quote, the price that we offer is a fixed price, so there'll be no coming back at variations later. When we are out there viewing the home, we can see all the nooks and crannies and options that are available to be able to hide the pipework as best as possible, and so that the indoor is positioned in the most suitable position for that home to provide the best heating and cooling options. Now, within the Daikin lineup, Daikin have the largest range of air conditioning products in the market, whether it be a bedroom, a 3-story townhouse, right up to a 15-story inner city building complex. Daikin offer the whole solution. Currently, most of the Daikin product lineup is running with the R32 refrigerant, which is the latest and greatest and the most efficient on the market. Daikin have a manufacturing plant in Sydney where they do manufacture the ducted units for the in-ceiling type builds. Leading sales Wi-Fi add-on modules are available on all of their air conditioning range. The indoor units are generally with a matte white finish as opposed to a gloss, and they offer a 2, 3, 4 and a 5-head multi-head range, plus a whole home ducted solution. The LG WH series, the efficient but affordable product. Latest R32 refrigerant, as I mentioned before, comes with inbuilt Wi-Fi, an energy display monitoring via the remote control, weekly timer, and again offering a 2, 3, 4 and a 5-head multi, and both indoor and outdoors with very low noise. They do have quite a few models that are choice selected as well.
Okay, well, you can see on the last slide there that I think I need to make myself visible. Yeah, we can see that we've got a number of other programs going on from Clean Energy Nillumbik, and I might come back to those in a few minutes. But we've got some questions coming in straight away. I myself noticed that the comment about possible delays that Romney made because of the shortage of supply, there might be a delay. I've actually been through a comparable thing. We've just had at my place some extra solar panels put on the roof. And of course that got delayed during COVID. And Solar Homes were very, very good indeed about all of that, kept in touch by email and things. So I think you don't need to be worried about that aspect. Romney, could you say a little bit about the reasons that air fusion was chosen, please? We've got a question about that.
Yes, so air fusion offered us a couple of good quality products that we know are reliable and reasonably efficient. They are not at the very top end of the market, but we wanted to offer something that was of good quality and good efficiency but reasonable price. Air Fusion, I've had personal experience with their work in a professional capacity, and their referees also feel the same, that their workmanship is extremely good, and their customer service is also outstanding. If you ever have a problem or just a question, they're more than happy to help you out.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that. Second question, Lynn asks, can Aaron please explain what home load, what that calculation is, please? And Aaron, perhaps you could turn your face on. That's it.
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
The question was, can you explain for Lynn, please, home load calculation? What's that mean?
Heat load calculation. Sorry, heat load calculation is, so when we arrive at the property, we'll work out the dimensions, the volume of the room, the type of windows, the aspect, north, south, east or west, and the type of build of the home, just to accurately work out the correct size air conditioning unit for that room that the unit's being installed in. So it's a heat load.
All right, not home load. Okay, so that effectively that allows you to size the system and make sure it's man enough for the job, but not unnecessarily large.
Yes, correct. So putting a unit that is too small into a room can make the unit work at its extreme, which is at the worst efficiency rating for the unit. So by putting a 5 kilowatt unit in a room that requires 7, then yeah, look, the 5 kilowatt will certainly get you by for probably 80–90% of the year, but those consecutive hot days, the 5 kilowatt will be running at its maximum, which is when an air conditioning system is at its most inefficient. So correctly sizing that room based on, it also comes in the fact that how many people will be using that room and sitting in there at the one time as well. So the heat loads can go up with multiple people being in there. And yeah, correctly sizing that room, you'll get a lot longer life out of your unit, as well as not consuming too much energy.
This next question, I think perhaps Romney might start answering and then Aaron complete. We've got a question from Ray about whether ducted air conditioning options are available in the LG range. And more generally, I suppose, Romney, whether in fact ducted solutions are available under this program or whether we're limited to what's been on the screen.
We haven't negotiated any ducted pricing with Air Fusion, but in our discussions with them, over the last week or so. We know that not everybody, these two products are not going to suit every circumstance for households in Nillumbik. So you are more than welcome to talk to the staff at Air Fusion about other options as well, including the ducted.
Okay, and Aaron, does LG offer ducted, or is that only?
Yes, but both Dakin and LG do offer a ducted solution. Dakin are probably a little bit better off in the ducted solution, where if it is a residential home that's already built, then Dakin units do break up into thirds where we can actually fit them within the roof, where some of the other brands you can't break them up. They're generally more so for a new build, but certainly both Dakin and LG offer a full ducted range, yes.
Okay, so that's something that could be taken up with you or your staff on a site visit, and you'd be able to give a quote and so on.
Yes,
I
of
must say,
course.
commenting on the quotes, I was very pleased to hear no variations. Having been involved in the building industry for some years myself, variations are the bane of a project manager's life, but even more the bane of a client's life. So it's good to know that the prices are fixed with what we're offering here. Moving
Yes.
on, could you explain, please, what a multi-head system is? Michael was asking about that. I think that's a question for Aaron.
Yep. So most manufacturers offer a 2, 3, 4, and a 5-head multi-head system. So the way they operate is using the one outdoor unit to pair up to multiple indoor units within the home. There are some limitations when using multi-heads. One is that you can't have one room on heating and the other room that's connected on cooling. They must be either on the same mode, but you can have each room at very different set points. One room can be on fan only while the other room's set to 22 degrees cooling, and the other room might be set to 20 degrees cooling. The benefits of multi-head is it reduces the amount of outdoor units you have on your property. Again, a very efficient way to heat and cool your home. So if you've got a 4-head multi and you're only using one of the indoor units, then you have a very large outdoor unit that's capable of controlling all 4, but only controlling the one. So your coefficiencies of performance are through the roof because you've got such a larger outdoor heat exchanger doing very little work.
Okay. Lynn's come back with another question as well, which is whether she would need to know the insulation, or you would need to know the insulation rating in the home. When you come out on your site visit, do you need to be given that info?
No, we don't need to be given, but we can certainly, it's something that we do generally check when we're there, of the insulation factor within the ceiling. And that can give us a little bit of a guide as into what size unit we need to allow for.
Okay. Now, I rather suspect that Ray has started doing some sort of mental arithmetic here in preparation, because he asks whether you can give some general guidance. Obviously, it's just order of magnitude or rule of thumb, but in kilowatts, what sort of size for what sort of floor area, Aaron? What are we looking at?
Look, generally, as a rule of thumb, roughly around 140 watts per square metre is a very safe and simple guide. And that can vary depending on whether it's a bedroom or a living room, or whether it's in Eltham or it's in Kinglake, whether it's predominantly for heating. So there's a lot of things to take into account, but a very quick rule of thumb is of 140 watts per square metre. It will give us a good idea of where we're roughly looking at.
Okay, so Ray, if you're wanting to get a bit of a budget idea ahead of time, it sounds as though that would be a good starting point. Michael asks, Aaron, can some rooms not even be in the multi-head setup? Is there any reason why they all have to be? I would have thought not.
No, it just depends. Whatever rooms you want to have conditioned, then you would link them up to your multi-head system. So multi-heads are generally, if you can think of it, they're more so designed for an apartment type complex where you have a balcony, so you have a very small footprint, and you don't want to have 2 or 3 outdoor units on that balcony. So the multi-heads are designed for generally that apartment type complex setup where you want to keep the amount of outdoors reduced.
Yeah, I imagine that normally, Aaron, people might have 1, maybe 2 bedrooms and then a living area. That'll be the sort of typical family kind of setup, wouldn't it, that they wanted a unit for?
Yeah, so what we generally do with the multi-range is, if it's a larger living area, we try and keep that unit as a standalone system. And then if there's 3 bedrooms reasonably banked up next to each other towards one side of the house, then that's where we link up a multi-head. So it's very rare that we would link it up to a very large living area. It's generally used for mostly just linking up 2 to 3 or 4 bedrooms, or 2 bedrooms and a study in close proximity, because you want to keep the amount of refrigeration pipe minimal, so that you keep the outdoor units reasonably close to the indoor heads.
Question, I think this perhaps goes back to Rodney, but it might be both of you. Should someone be thinking also about a bit of draft proofing of their house? Could you speak about that?
Yep, definitely. Around 15% or so of heat is lost or gained through gaps and cracks around doors and windows, under skirting boards, through exhaust fans, all that sort of thing. So especially if you're removing a wood heater or a gas heater, it's a great time to do draft proofing. You'll see a little poll question pop up at the end of the session. We're going to ask you what else you would like to see from Clean Energy Nillumbik in terms of bulk purchases. So ideally, if you're doing a bigger type of renovation, you would put in insulation, do draft proofing and change your heating over, and that would make your house a whole lot more efficient.
Great, thanks for that, Rodney. Bill asks about his house. He's got a concrete floor and cathedral ceilings without space. How far can the pipes run over the top of the roof? How do you cope with that situation, Aaron?
Okay, yeah, so not uncommon around the Nillumbik area. So it's, once we do that site inspection, what we can do, if we do have pipes running across the roof, then they'll be encased in either a plastic trunking or a metal trunking to protect them. But look, there's a lot of ways of skinning the cat, let's say, and a site inspection can certainly come up with a few solutions to match.
Great. Now, I think this question might be from Ken. I'm not sure. This person has a 3-star heating unit and wants to convert it to refrigerated cooling or heat pump cooling. Is it possible to use the same heating duct for heating and cooling?
Sorry, Ken, it's got some bad news there. No, it's not. So the heating ducts are generally a lot smaller. So running to each of the vents within the home, and I'm presuming it's probably underneath the floor, most of those vents would be 150 millimetre or 6-inch diameter. Refrigerated is basically the next size up on all ducts. So all ducts would have to be removed. The floor vents would have to be increased in size. And the insulation factor on the ductwork for refrigerated is generally R1.5, so a different thickness as well. So now look, it would all have to be removed and replaced with new, which is not a bad thing when you consider you may have had the heater there for 10, 15, 20 years. So the amount of dust that's sitting in those ducts at the moment, it would be advantageous to have all of them removed anyway.
Mm. Is it a huge drama, Aaron, to do this oversizing, I'll call it?
Depends on how much access is. If it's underneath the floor, depends on the access that's available. But no, look, it's something that we would do 1 or 2 jobs every week, where we are removing either the evaporative cooling system, retiling the roof and putting refrigerated in, or we're generally both. We're removing a evaporative and a gas ducted heating system and putting in reverse cycle all throughout the home. And those jobs generally, we are in and out within the same day. So from start of the day, we'll have the products completely removed, and at the end of the day, we will have a full home solution, refrigerated, Wi-Fi set up, access it from anywhere, and the house is vacuumed at the end, all done.
Oh, that's the kind of tradesman talk I think we all like to hear. This in the morning and out in the afternoon. Tony asks Aaron, in commenting, thank you for supporting our local community. given the supply issues, are you likely to be able to complete an LG single head installation before Christmas if it's ordered straight away?
Likelihood on the LG, yes. Yes, I've got stock coming in next week of LG, so likely that would be fine. We have some ducted model, some Daikin models arriving early to mid-December. But yeah, there are a couple of options likely before Christmas for sure.
John, you've somehow muted yourself.
Tony, thank you for that, Aaron. Sounds, Tony, as though you better get on the blower to Aaron ASAP or to AirFusion and get organised for that site visit, because I imagine that post-COVID, Christmas coming, all the hot weather coming, the world is about to go insane for that business. Yeah, let's go for it, Tony. And if there are other people who are in that sort of situation where they're seriously waking up to the fact the warm weather's started, my suggestion would be do not delay in getting your quote. You still don't have to accept it, but if you don't get in the queue, you'll find yourself missing out, I suspect. Another question from Lynn. Thank you, Lynn. In the situation when a unit is installed on a roof and the roof is used for rainwater collection for drinking, very common situation in Nillumbik, of course, are there any issues to consider about the quality of drinking water?
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that, Lynn. Yeah, very common around this area. So what the outdoor unit will drain condensate water in winter time. So all outdoor units come with a series of drain points at the bottom of the outdoor unit, and they do need to be drained and taken off the roof. So yeah, so if you're using the water for drinking, then yeah, the condensate drain does need to be taken to the ground.
Okay, so you just run a little pipeline out to the side and down to ground?
Yes, we would. Yeah, we're depending on where the guttering and everything is, whatever's sort of feasible to make sure that we get fall, and that drain can run away. Then yeah, that drain will drip over and outside of the catchment area. Another
question that's sort of a bit linked to this. Your little diagram earlier, Aaron, showed the outdoor unit sitting on a little concrete slab beside the wall outside, but of course sometimes it's on the roof. What's the situation when, for whatever reason, the place needs to be re-roofed?
Okay, yeah, so look, actually even sitting them on a concrete slab these days, most options that we do offer generally will go on a wall bracket, being the fact to keep them off the ground a little bit, and in case anyone wants to have termite protection done or paving or any sort of works, they don't need to get us to come back out to do that. So, or the ground may be unlevel, so it is just as easy to put it on a wall bracket. And sorry, your other question was about the roof, wasn't it?
Yeah, if the unit's been put on the roof, yes. What happens when it's time to do some work on the roofing?
Yep. So that's when they would need to have a qualified technician to come out and what we call pump the system down, so the system can be removed, or the outdoor unit can be removed. The roof can be re-roofed and redone, repointed, whatever way you're doing it, and then we would then come back and reinstall it.
Okay. Is that a major budgetary consideration?
No, it's not. You'd probably get away with anywhere between $300 or $400 to have that removed and then have it reinstalled. It's not a huge cost, no.
Thanks for that. Well, that's nice news too. Now, I think we're starting to reach towards the bottom of the pile of the questions here, but I've got another one from Ray. Whether there are any views, and I think this is a question for Aaron again, any views on whether it's more cost effective to replace an existing gas ducted system, gas heating ducted, and evaporative cooling with multiple split system reverse cycle, one or more multi-head system, or one big ducted system, or what would you do? So Ray's talking about, he's got a ducted gas, an evaporative cooler, and he's got to think about, well, if he replaces them, what with? Ducted,
yes, okay.
Whatever.
Yep, so a couple of things come into consideration is how much of the home is being used, how many occupants are in there currently residing in the home. So if we were to remove the evaporative system and remove the gas heating and put a refrigerated, whether it be, let's imagine a ducted system. With the ducted systems, we can have up to 10 different zones within the home, and each of those individual zones can have their own individual temperature control. So this allows for really basically saving a lot of energy within the system to only heat or cool the rooms that you want to heat or cool. Now, we can also put motion sensors into each of these sensors so that when the rooms aren't occupied, the system will basically drop its temperature back to save you on the running costs. Now, in regards to using single-headed or multi-head systems to do an entire home, it is a cost-effective way versus having a full ducted system to do. Certainly, yeah, it will save you some money on your running costs, because if you can imagine, if you're in your master bedroom and you've only got that one room running, then you're only paying to basically heat and cool that one room. But the downfall of that is that you will have a lot of indoor units on the wall scattered throughout your home. And if that's something you can live with, then that's fine as well.
Okay, so Ray, it sounds as though it's a bit of a question about the aesthetics of the various rooms and the numbers, you know, whether we're talking about 4 bedrooms or 2 and 6 bedrooms or whatever it is. Again, it sounds as though it would be worthwhile having a bit of it's a complicated situation, might be worthwhile having a bit of a talk with Aaron, contacting him through Clean Energy, and Aaron will get in touch with you. Do we have more questions that I haven't covered? Natalie, can you see any more to prompt me? Because I think otherwise that's probably about it, which enables me to say thank you very much to both you, Aaron, and to Romney. It's been a plainly well-informed presentation from both of you. I think it's obvious from the questions that you've immediately been clear and enabled people to identify things that they need to know and ask you about, and you've been able to give a detailed answer. So thank you for that. I appreciate that you've made yourselves available. This brings us towards the end of our time. Before you do go, dear participants, and I thank you for your attendance, please do look at the questions which have just come up on your screen now. That'll help us, as we mentioned earlier, in making sure that we do this as well as possible, help us for next time. If you've still got questions or you think of something overnight, which I find often happens on these occasions, by all means, get on our website and ask your question. I'm sure we'll be more than happy to get back to you. So don't forget to fill in the questionnaire. And although we can't give a standing ovation because we're all in different places, I'm sure you'd want to join me in thanking Aaron and Romney very much for their help today. Thank you indeed.
All right, guys. I think we've just us now.
Well done. That was
Good job.
really good. Well
Nice.
answered, Darren.
Oh, thank you. Very nerve-wracking.
No, you did well.
Oh, well, I hope you didn't find it. You didn't seem so.
Oh, good. Okay. I felt like I did.
No, not at all. Not at all. You just seemed very calm and extremely competent.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah. So we've got some feedback there. Do you want to say anything about it, Natalie or Robin?
I forgot to turn my camera off. Hide self view does not entirely hide self view. That was my learning experience for today.
Yes, never mind. It was only at the beginning. You didn't pop up during the rest of it.
That's good. That's
Anything
good.
to say about this feedback that we've got on the poll there?
Yeah, well, they want us to do everything.
Yeah.
So all of the above.
Well, it's interesting that no one is, turned off. No one's on the last two questions.
No. So 20 people or 20 responses were positive about doing the installation or requesting further information. So that's good.
And 5 of them have already registered on the CEN website.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
There you go. That's quick.
Offline start.
So Aaron will get those to you by Monday. You can start talking to them.
Yeah,
Aaron,
we'll treat them as a priority and get you some feedback on where they're all at.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's
probably
great.
late, Aaron, to put an entry in Seek, but it looks to me as though you better start thinking about extra staff. Because I'm right, aren't I?
Yeah.
When I said that the pre-Christmas rush is about to fall on you like a waterfall, isn't it?
Oh, look, we're still catching up from the sort of 8 weeks of stage 4 lockdown that we couldn't go in the consumers' homes. So that all basically got set aside, and that kicked off probably 2 weeks ago, I think. So we're still completing jobs that were meant to have been finished in May and April.
Yeah.
Plus as well a general sale or general business that comes in naturally. So yeah, we've got extra staff on board. The boys are working 6 days in overtime during the week. So yeah, we're full steam ahead.
Well, I had that sort of experience with my solar panels, and there was a bit of a delay too with the inspector who arrived. I hope he arrived on Friday, and I guess there'll be another delay before our retailer actually catches up with the fact that we've got more panels than we used to have. We'll see. Robin, anything on the technical side that we need to note?
Seems to go all right from my end. I'm not sure from everybody else's point of view.
Okay.
When I'm sharing my screen, can you, and then turn the video on, can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, I could see you at the side. So there's your
Okay.
shared screen takes up most of it, and could see you just off to the side and small.
I couldn't see anything apart from the slide, so I didn't know whether it was going, what was happening when the slide at my turn clicked up. It was just basically that slide. That's why I sort of staggered it a little bit at the start, because I was waiting for someone if it was going to pop up on the screen or whether anyone could actually hear me.
Okay, well, that's probably, I'll keep an eye open for that on any future occasion, because I could do a little bridging thing there.
Yeah. Are you working on one screen, Aaron?
This is my second time ever using Zoom, Romney, so I'm learning very fast. So
Oh, you did brilliantly then.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can see all 4 screens. So I'm working that's why you'll see this sort of go around occasionally to try and see what else is out there. So I'm slowly getting through it, but yeah, I can see 4 screens now, but I'm only working off an iPad.
Oh, right. Okay. That's why you can't see the videos and the slides.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone typed anything. A couple of people ticked they wanted other things in that poll but didn't put them in the chat.
Solar panels was the other.
Yeah, look,
Well, that's already covered anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, it was on the previous slide anyway.
I might get back to that person. And who was it again?
Liz,
I chat
Elsa,
for
Lisa, I think, or Lisa or something. I replied.
Melissa. Was that Melissa? Was it?
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I think we're done for the afternoon.
yep. Thank you, everyone. That was really good.
Thank you to you, Romney. Very well organised as always. And good luck with your vans and all, Aaron, and your overtime and your supply chain. I think especially your supply chain. And now, have we got another of these things scheduled? Have we got another?
Yes, on
When?
the 1st of December, which
Oh.
is a Thursday evening, I think.
Yeah, but I think that Michael is doing the
Yeah, I think Michael's doing the my role.
DMC.
Is that right? Michael's subbing for me?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right.
Very good. Okay. All right. Well, I shall bid you all adieu.
Thank
Okay.
you.
It's obviously beer
Thanks,
o'clock.
John.
See you. Oh, and I wish you were here on the Gippsland Lakes. I'm about to go out on the boat. It's lovely.
Yeah, take care in the strong wind.
Yeah, shall do. Au
See you
revoir.
later. Bye.
Yeah. I'm just thinking we should have a little practice run for Michael. I think
Yep.
it can probably just be you and I, Rob.
Radio. Ask
You're
him when
okay
he's
for the
available.
first, aren't you?
Ask him when he's available. We've
Okay.
we've got some guests in at the moment looking at the house, which is why I was jumped off for a minute.
Oh, no problem. Sorry, I'll leave you to it then. But
No, it's all
just
right.
you're fine for the first, aren't you?
1st of December.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's like 5 p.m. or something. It's a blinking ordinary time from my perspective. But anyway,
Right. And it'll be the same link.
no, because we only get one go with that webinar, don't we?
Correct. Yeah.
So we need to set up a new webinar. Do you want to do that one? Do you want to set it up?
I shall try. Radio. Okay.
All right. So and you'll need to send out the panelist invitations to all of us.
So do I have Michael's email address?
You may not. Let me just send it to you now.
And who else is John? So Michael's substituting for John.
Yeah.
So then it's Romney and Aaron.
Everyone else is the same. Yeah. All right. So I'll email you and copy Michael.
Did you hear my question? Did that come over?
Which one?
I tried to ask you a question at the end. Did that come over?
Over the audio or on the chat?
On the audio.
Oh, right at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute. I haven't stopped recording.